this demonstration I'm going to show you how to use the new layering dies from John Next Door, which come in either 5-inch, 6-inch or 7-inch sets, to basically do this card where we've got a beautiful set of layering or a similar version to it. And the dies were designed to give you perfect mats and layers over either a 5-inch, 6-inch or 7-inch. So I'm going to move that out of the way and I'm going to bring in the dies. So this is the 5-inch set, and in the 5-inch set you get circle, rectangle and square, and there's 3 dies for each shape. You get a plain circle, and this is on a 5-inch diameter. You will get a stitched cut circle, which is on 4 3/4 inches, and you get this die for the circle, which will either punch you holes if used to cut, or used to emboss, will deboss you the circles onto it, and that fits exactly in either size circle. And we do the same with the other dies in the set. So you have the square and a plain square, which gives you a 5-inch by 5-inch square. You have a stitched square, which gives you 4 3/4 inches by 4 3/4 inches, and the insert for this one is a set of squared off diamonds all the way around, which just simply cut out the pattern. For the rectangle, you have a 3-inch by 5-inch plain rectangle, a 2 3/4 inch by 4 3/4 inch stitched rectangle, and the insert for this punches out a different size circle, and this one again just cuts out the circles. And these have no cutting lines, so these can be used separately just to cut into the card, or used in combination with the other dies in the set, or other dies you may have at home to give a beautiful detail to your layers. And this is exactly the same. This is the 5-inch set. You get exactly the same as a 6-inch set is available, and a 7-inch set is available. So all 3 work exactly the same way. So I'm going to be showing you on the 5-inch. So to start with, I'm going to bring in the card blank that I'm going to be using. And because I'm using the 5-inch set, I've actually got a card blank here that is 5.5 inches by 5.5 inches. This is on white, so difficult to see, but this is a simple 5.5 inch card blank. I could use a 5-inch card blank, and if I did that, then the square would fit exactly to the front of it. So what we want to do now is to cut the layers. So I'm going to go with the first layers being in this beautiful pistachio green linen card. So what I need to do is, for this card, I need a plain layer in the square. So I'm going to tape down the square. I need a plain layer in the rectangle. So I'm going to tape down the rectangle, just making sure that the dies don't cross. And I'm going to have a plain circle. So I'm going to cut a plain circle. We'll put that on another piece of card and we will cut those. And I would run those through my die cutting machine to give me the simple layers. And I've already done that. So here is the circle, here is the rectangle, and here is the square. So I will get these beautiful plain mats and layers. And for the next layer down, I want to cut those in white. So we'll pop these to one side and we'll bring in a piece of white card. So now I want to cut the next layer in the set, but I also want to cut the pattern into it. So I'm going to take a long piece of tape, put it onto my 2 fingers, so I've got it like a Chinese finger trap, and pick up the insert die. I'm then going to bring down this stitched layer, float in the middle till it's even, and pick that up. So that gives me the square. I do exactly the same with the circle. So again, a large piece of tape, pick up the circle, hover over, when it's even, pick up the circle, and we put that down. And I'm just arranging these so that I can hopefully get all the pieces onto one piece of card. And I'm going to do exactly the same with the rectangle. Pick up the rectangle, bring in the stitched rectangle, pick that up, and then tape that down. And what I would then do is to run those through my die cutting machine, either individually or all together, to give me the pieces. And I have those pieces already cut again. So we can see here, if I bring in a piece of green, you can see the rectangle comes and has all of the holes punched in it. The square has the diamonds in it, and the circle has a smaller circle pattern running all the way around. So I simply layer these together, and that's how the die is designed. So I'm going to bring in the circle piece. I'm going to take my glue, and I'm simply going to glue, or you could foam tape this all the way around and glue this on top, as you would do with your standard matting and layering. And you'll see you get a beautiful, because it's a 1/4 inch bigger, 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. So that's our circle done. I'm then going to do my rectangle. So again, same idea. I'm simply going to apply glue all the way around the rectangle to allow me to glue this on. There we go. And again, because the next layer is a 1/4 of an inch, I get a beautiful 1/8 of an inch layer all the way around that. And finally, the square. So I bring in my square layer, and I simply add some glue around there. Just find the lid for my glue. If you don't put, with these fine glue applicators, if you don't put the lid back on, then you will actually find that the glue will stick inside the tube. So I just want to make sure that's slid in and closed up. And then we add that onto there. There we go. Now I've already added some foam tape on the back of here. So I'm going to take the foam tape off, because I'm going to put dimension between each individual layer. So bring in my card blank, and I'm simply going to put this on top. So you can see I've used a 5.5 inch card blank. So I've got the perfect layer all the way around. If I used a 5 inch card blank, then this green would hit and fit exactly the size that we want to. I'm then going to bring in the circle, which again, I've already foam mounted, but you can see here how it fits exactly on top, because the diameter of the circle is 5 inches, the same as the square. And then we bring in the rectangle, and again, I've already added onto this a little bit of foam tape just to make it easier. And what I could do is to stamp or die cut my sentiment into the middle of there. And I can actually line this up, so I can count 1, 2, 3 from the bottom, and from the top, sorry, and 1, 2, 3 from the top. And that way I can make sure that if I can see the same number on each side, I get it in exactly the right position. So the dies have been designed so that it's very easy to mat and layer them all together as a set. And of course they can be used separately and in lots of different ways. So what I would now do is to add a sentiment onto this. So I could cut the sentiment into this piece, or I could add the sentiment. Once that's on, I would simply then arrange, and I've gone for a darker green here, a little bit of foliage. This is using the aster leaves from the John Next Door collection. So a little bit of foliage, and then we're simply going to add a couple of flowers on. So in fact, I think I'll just add one on there with a sentiment in the middle. And there we go. A very simple card to make with a lot of mats and layers in it, quite a lot of drama, but just made using the 5 inch layering die set from John Next Door. Enjoy.